Hey y'all, so I wasn't going to film anything today, but I just wanted to address something that I've been seeing a lot, I've been hearing a lot, and that is people telling me that they're hearing about sidereal people being mean, dismissive, whatever you want to call it. Particular example is based on certain moon phases. So I know with me, like when somebody brings up something tropically, I'm like, usually it's because in sidereal they're this sign, da 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 da. That's my interpretation of the energy. It has nothing to do with accuracy or the system being better. It's just an eye opener. From my own experience in not only the sidereal community, but parts of the Vedic community with people around my age, a little bit younger, it's very condescending, very judgmental, very cliquey. And when you have such a small subgroup like that, it's bound to have issues. When we're talking about tropical astrology too, we see this all the time with people going at each other over what they interpret as better. I've received some of this backlash before on my page and how people felt about my perspectives, and I've done the same in turn. But as I'm getting older, getting more knowledgeable, and taking care of myself, I realized, and I've always universally understood, that there is no right or wrong to this. Of course, like a completely incorrect malpractice that can happen where people, feed misinformation. But for some of this, I feel like when it comes to matters of opinion, interpretation, what's the issue, when I first got into sidereal astrology, I would admit, it was a bit hard for me to get into the system because it was just met with so much energy. And I wouldn't call it negative. I would say just energy where you feel like, and I'm gonna say what somebody told me, like an element of shame. Like they're shaming people and making them feel bad for not knowing certain things. And I mean, joking about it is cool, but it gets to a point where it's no longer a joke. It's people really upset. And what I teach in sidereal, I made a thread about it, but of course I'm S-worded, so I won't be able to retrieve it. But the main issue that I've always expressed, and the thing that I wanted to say was that I don't preach that the system is more accurate. I don't tell people this is older. I honestly don't care about timelines. Everybody's gonna say one thing. We'll always argue about time, but I use and I determine things by what resonates with me, and being able to produce accuracy for other people that I read for. So the air that I feel surrounds sidereal is in tropical astrology. Even tropical astrology has their own sets of issues where things tend to be, I guess, it's not scandal, it's hyped up. So a lot of the content that's like very sun sign based gets very hyped. Oh, this and this, and it's very inaccurate. It's one dimensional, and et cetera, right? Things are very, what do they call it? Like not hyped up, but like not scandalous, but just, it puts it at a very high platform and a high status of importance, when really it's not much substance to it. I know a lot of astrologers who are in tropical who don't do that. They provide pretty good content. So it's not just a sidereal issue, but what I noticed with sidereal is a lot of people are trying to understand this system, and I'm one of the only, somebody told me, one of the only approachable people, because the energy around Sidereal, I'm somebody who is really good at bypassing a lot of people's feelings and opinions and etc. And that's because I'm just somebody who's very good at acknowledging and paying attention to what the facts are. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I had to take a quick break. I thought I saw something. I'm somebody who deals with the facts. I leave the rest out of it, you know. So I do understand that a lot of the times it's kind of like how Sidereal gets put in people's faces is you have to learn it like this. What you learned was just you should feel like you should feel bad, like you didn't know. It's like getting mad at a kid for just newly founding and experiencing certain things of life. They're learning and they're understanding and they're growing. And what we can't do is create harm or things where we're getting too caught up in being truthful, or I gotta say it like this, I gotta say it like that, or being very harsh. That's not introductory. So I try, you know, even with me, like I know like it's a little bit quote unquote edgy, but it's to get people in. You know, we're in that social culture where it's kind of like a little bit of mean but being funny. Whereas, like I said in the beginning, it's not really funny anymore. It's becoming a thing where people are really getting upset that you practice tropical. My gripes with tropical have nothing to do with the system being wrong. My gripes with tropical is the quality that people are given, and they're being sold a fantasy and a vision that is not exactly what the reality is. I love hilarious content. I love educational, funny content. I do it all the time. But we have to be able to draw the line between what's right and then what people think astrology is versus what it actually is, and it being a serious practice. I always tell people I'm gonna put people that I know that do Sidereal that are very approachable, very nice, and very kind in my bio, so you can check them out. But like I said, there's no right or wrong. I don't want you can't say anything that came out of my mouth or from this point and a couple months back or really since I started practicing around that time that I said that this was more accurate. In the beginning, I kind of felt that way. I kind of had indications of like that energy, but I don't remember explicitly saying that. And I remember my thread telling people like, I'm not saying this is a more accurate system. I don't preach that and I don't promote that. Because of growing in my practice, nothing's inherently wrong or right. It just is, right? I mean, that's the spiritual practice, spiritual law, theory, whatever you want to call it. I just want people to enjoy what they do in astrology. I want people to enjoy just living it. You know, I correlate astrology to anime, a lot of stuff that I like, because anything can be astrologically dated back. I don't want people to feel like what system is better. Do the system that's most resonant for you. If you're into Sidereal, I do Sidereal. I have a website. You can get a lot of information based on the spiritual wisdom that I provide and the education. If you want to do tropical and you just don't really understand Sidereal, I understand. There's a lot of tropical people you could find. I know people who don't really understand tropical but love my takes, and I'm trying to get people into understanding it. Sidereal is not a system where you have to do it a certain way or things are interpreted differently. For me, I just reworked what it meant tropically, right? I don't correlate it to tropical, but it helped me understand how it felt in a sidereal way based on the quote-unquote transitional signs. So if you were Scorpio, some of you will be a sidereal Libra, and how I interpret that based on energy and what I noticed from myself. Derivatives, in a way. I just wanted to make this video because I've been noticing it myself, and people are starting to somebody I know started to pick up on it, and I don't want this to become a thing where I don't talk about it before it becomes, sorry, I have to close out something. I didn't want to talk about it when it was too late. I had a little battery thing pop up, so yeah. I didn't want it to be a thing where I talk about it when it was already left a stain. Since I'm in this community, I want to keep it straightforward. I hope somebody watches this and takes heed or understands that not all of us are like this. I just want to take care of it now before it, becomes like, oh, Tay's like this too. I'm like, no, I'm not like that. I've seen it. Actually, the person that just hit me up, they're not the only one who told me this. I was on a phone call with a friend. They told me the same thing. So you're not the only one who's seen this if you're on Twitter. They're very mean. Some of them are very mean, very rude, very disrespectful, very shady. I had to leave the community myself. And I still talk to people who are in tropical because those are one of the only people I get along with. I wish it wasn't like that, but it is what it is. So yeah, I want everybody to enjoy their night, day, evening, afternoon, whatever time you're reading this. More content on this YouTube is going to be on the way. Pick-up piles next week. I don't know what day. It will be happening though. I'm trying to film as much educational things on here as much as I can. Be sure to like, subscribe, share this video if you can. If you have a Twitter, share this video so people can get this. I know it might cause a little bit of a stir. I don't care. I'm not responding to any of the, if I get any critiques, I'm not responding to it. I'm grown. I've grown. You know what I'm saying? I'm grown and I've grown. There's a lot of things that are on my priority list. Arguing with people is not one of them. I'll leave that up to the people who have to fulfill those duties to argue, but that's not in my spiritual practice or my journey or my life. So, my life journey either. So, that's that on that, and bye.